Hi guys, and welcome to another betting predictions video. So in our last video, which was 4 days ago, which I'm sorry about, but I was away, I was away from my computer, I couldn't have helped it. But a lot of people were requesting that I made the video, so it's good to know that people want it, to say the least. People were really requesting it, so here I am again. We didn't do amazing on the 17th, we lost a lot of the NA games. Yeah, so that was pretty brilliant. We were on 59%, which is definitely worse than what we normally get, around the 70% mark. But now I'm bringing the matches for the 21st, so you should have a lot more time than usual to bet on these matches than what I give you, so hopefully I can help you a bit more with the kind of choosing what's going on. So first one is Renegades versus CLG. This is a best of 3, so it's got it's a little bit more secure on the bet that I would pick if it is a best of 3, because less upset potential than if it were a best of 1 or a best of 2. Renegades looking really strong at the minute, beating who was it recently? It was Winter Fox very convincingly, extremely convincingly in fact. They played a couple more as well. They played against Liquid, I think it was. They beat Liquid. Yeah, beat Liquid there, 16-8. And the second one, Renegades were winning 14-13 on Nuke, but I'm not sure why, but on HLTV it says the match was postponed at that time. I think Liquid forfeit, but I'm not completely sure. But also CLG looking really decent at the minute, at least. They were upsetting against I forget who it is, but a very top tier NA team that I wouldn't have seen them normally beating. That was in a best of 3 as well, so that's kind of swayed my views a little bit, but I'm still sticking with my initial pick of Renegades. I'm putting the low bet on them, 60-40 in favour. We got a couple of very low tier NA matchups now, which is SMAZING versus eUnited and Splyce versus SMAZING. I hadn't really heard of this team very much, but then when that seems to happen, they seem to somehow upset against the technically higher tier NA team. Perfect example is B's Money Crew versus Mostly Harmless. Like, B's Money Crew looking very solid at the minute against top tier NA teams, and they go and lose to Mostly Harmless. Doesn't really make sense, so you got to tread with caution in these ones. But I'm putting both low bets against SMAZING in these two, so for both eUnited and Splyce. But I believe that the Splyce game will be closer than the one prior to that. But then it might be worth watching SMAZING on this first one. If they beat eUnited, it's the same map, so it would kind of make sense if you did a low bet on SMAZING in that one. Yeah. Then ACG versus Outlaws. Outlaws doing really well against X Dark Passage, beating them in a best of 5, 3-0. ACG have taken on a Latvian player who used to play for, I forget the team, but he was a pretty decent player for that team. But ACG themselves have not performed well at all recently. Outlaws outperforming what I thought they would, so I think this kind of makes sense if I put a medium bet on Outlaws in this best of 3. EPG versus eXtatus. eXtatus not performing amazingly lately. They lost to Maxi Sorcise or whatever, but then again, these are people, the French side, are exceeding my expectations, so I'm not sure that really gives an accurate view of how, like, if eXtatus are in a slump. Whereas EPG I don't rate very highly at all. Low tier Russian team. eXtatus, again, if Frozen performs, then I don't think there's any chance that EPG are going to get into it. So in this best of 3 I'm putting a medium bet on eXtatus. This is when it starts to get fun, some nice matchups here. So FaZe versus NAVI. I'm putting a low bet on NAVI on this one, actually, on Train. just because it's always been a favoured map for NAVI, recently beating FNATIC 16-6, whereas FaZe have not played recently on Train, apart from like the IEM Decider group match where they won like 4-2 against Astralis, which doesn't really kind of show you how they performed on Train. But I still think that NAVI, even though I wouldn't rate NAVI as highly as FaZe at the minute, I'd still say that NAVI would win on Train. HellRaisers versus G2. HellRaisers putting up a really good performance against FNATIC today, I was watching. However, they did lose 16-7 against FNATIC on Inferno. But again, G2 kind of risky bet at the minute because they aren't consistent whatsoever. But I still see them as the better team in terms of skill and tactics, so I'm putting the low bet on G2 in this one. PENTA versus Spirit, this is an interesting matchup as well. PENTA have performed really well recently on Train, whereas Spirit have only played this map twice, and both of which were last year, and they lost both of them. So I think PENTA are the favoured team in this one, so I'm putting the medium bet on them, but you just got to bear in mind that Spirit may have sort of prepared for this map. It's normally a banned out map for them, I'm pretty sure, in the vetoes, but you never know. Spirit might have practiced this map, but I'm still going to go medium on PENTA. GODSENT versus Gambit. Gambit seem to be in quite a big slump at the minute. GODSENT in a tiny one, but not as big as Gambit. However, I'd still put my bet on Gambit, a low one, just because of how close the odds would be. It may even be worth putting a low bet on the underdog in this situation, but I still think that Gambit, they can kind of dig themselves out of the hole that they've put themselves in, and will win over pass, hopefully. And GODSENT versus Big. Again, I've talked about GODSENT kind of in a tiny bit of a slump. Big just haven't performed well at all, in my opinion, since they were formed. And especially a map like Train, GODSENT are good on a map, on this map. So I'm hoping that because of this map choice, GODSENT will win, and yeah, but I'm still putting a low bet on them because it should be quite a close game. Flipside versus Rogue. Both teams not winning many matches recently. However, Rogue have been playing a lot higher, like, quality opposition than Flipside. So I would still go with a low on Rogue on this one. I'm pretty sure that it will. Both teams will definitely get over 10, of course, 10 rounds. One will have to get 16 or win in overtime, so that would make sense. But I think the losing team, who I think will be Flipside, will still get over 10 rounds in this one. So it's a bit of a close call on this one. NAVI versus FaZe. Again, I'm picking low on NAVI in this one because they'll probably have the lower odds, but I still think they're technically the favoured team in this situation. I would normally favour FaZe if it's just raw skill wise, but NAVI on Mirage seem to have performed well, especially recently. Yeah, it's another really close game. You might even want to either skip it or put a low bet on the underdog, but I'm still going to stick with my gut, go low on NAVI on Mirage. G2 versus HellRaisers, kind of the same as what I said recently. G2 not performing great, HellRaisers not performing great, but I still see G2 as the better side, so I'm going low on them. Pretty simple for this one, I think. Rogue versus VeritasAequitas, I don't know how to pronounce it, some Swedish side basically. And some interesting information here. Robin, the player that seems to dance all around the UK scene and the Swedish scene, is apparently on the expected lineups for both of these matchups, which doesn't really make sense. I think he would be playing for Manatee though, over VeritasAequitas. Yeah, just a little weird information there. But Rogue, I think a lot higher tier team than Veritas. Skill wise should completely outclass them, so I'm putting the medium bet on Rogue on this one. KSU9 versus Manatee, which is ex-DenDD. Again, DenDD are a really solid team. They, of course, before they changed the name, which was only recently, they were putting in upsets against like PENTA, pretty sure one against Gambit as well. K29, some Belarusian team. They've got Cyberfocus, who used to play for Team Empire. Apart from that, I think that in this best of 3 situation, Manatee should take this one fairly convincingly, probably in 2 maps. We got a little rivalry going on, civil war between the UK teams, which I will definitely be watching because I am from the UK, and I've got a couple of friends on my friends list from both teams, so I'm wishing them both luck, but I think that Endpoint would take this one. On train, Royals, yeah, I don't want to say this because I have a friend called Jack who plays for them. He's on my friends list on Steam. They have not been performing well recently at all, struggling to even get over 10 rounds. So I would say, in comparison to other UK teams, they're near the bottom of the spectrum, whereas Endpoint are probably the best in the UK at the minute, I would say. So I'm actually putting a medium bet on them, but you might not want to do that just because of how unpredictable UK CS is. But yeah, that's what I'm doing, because it'll make it more entertaining for me. And especially if Snods, the new Endpoint player, performs, the new AWPer, he will, yeah, I think with him they should take the victory. Bpro versus Chrome, sorry. Bpro, this is Vindictus, there we go, which is Chrome. Chrome have been performing really bad recently. They lost to X-Dark Passage 16-1, I think it was. So really in a slump at the minute. But then again, both low tier EU teams, Bpro, there's not even really much to say about them, to be honest. So again, might be worth skipping, but I'm putting the low bit on Bpro in this one. NIP versus FNATIC. Of course, NIP with their new player called Draken. The new AWPer seems to be performing alright recently. Of course, it wasn't expected for him to come in and completely destroy everyone, but so I think he's fitting in quite well, and this is why I think the odds are closer than what I would have originally put them. Even though I still think that FNATIC, while I was watching them against HellRaisers, they were looking strong, especially on their T sides. I'm still thinking this is a very close matchup, both of the maps that they're playing on. So I'm putting low on FNATIC on both, just because I think they're the most skillful team out of the two, basically. LDLC versus FaZe. On Nuke. Nuke is a strong map for both teams, but I think FaZe are on a completely other level than LDLC. Especially recently, LDLC have been playing pretty ropey, whereas FaZe, they would have just come off of playing against NAVI, and especially if they beat NAVI, then they should easily take both maps against LDLC on both Nuke and Overpass. So that's why I'm putting medium bets on both of them. Again, another very low tier EU team to finish it off, EU matchup. Vexed versus Bpro. This could be anyone's game, if I'm honest, on Overpass. Again, you might want to look at this game because this one's on Overpass, which Bpro would have played on. If Bpro destroy Chrome on this one, they'll probably destroy Vexed on this one. If Bpro get destroyed by Chrome on this one, it'll probably be Vexed will probably take it, not like a destroyed game, but yeah, I still think Vexed would take it if Chrome win this one. But if this is a close game between Bpro and Chrome, but Bpro still win, or Chrome win, then I still think Bpro should beat Vexed. So it's kind of my logic going on. So yeah, apart from that, link in the description for the spreadsheet. Don't forget to use these codes up here for various betting and gambling websites. Also, if you want to send me any items, Steam trade link, I wouldn't despise that at all. So yeah, thank you for watching. I will keep you updated and give you another video tomorrow.